Hi, today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump's leadership failure and his response to the coronavirus pandemic. My name's Savannah.
My name's Rachel.
My name's Jackson.
And I'm Sarah. We'll discuss Donald Trump's leadership failure during the coronavirus pandemic. We'll cover personal attacks that he made, cutting back on funds during a time of need, as well as what we believe the solution is. We'll discuss what ineffective and effective leadership looks like and how Donald Trump is an autocratic leader. Donald Trump failed the US as a leader and negatively affected our economy. His inability to act fast, mandate safety precautions for the country, and listen to medical experts led to fatal and irreversible damage. Next, Savannah is going to talk about how Donald Trump is an autocratic leader.
The success of a leader has a lot to do with their chosen leadership strategy. In the case of Donald Trump, he would be classified as an autocratic leader. These types of leaders tend to use coercion to get people to do what they want. They tend to demand respect rather than earn it from their followers. Through Trump's administration, his coercion tactics among Democrats have created resentment, diminishing his ability to work well together in times of crisis, much like the COVID-19 crisis we find ourselves in today. Although he has legitimate power through the mere title of the President of the United States, Trump's main power is in the use of his coercive power. People are afraid to speak up, and they're afraid to go against him, leaving Trump to do whatever he pleases. Studies have shown that autocratic leaders also tend to have poor decision-making skills. Through his hateful words and actions, Donald Trump has caused a divide in America that can seem unrepairable. The Guardian states that the fact that Trump's campaign ran on disdain for immigrants, for women, for disabled people, for people of color, for Muslims, for anyone, in other words, who isn't an able-bodied, white, straight, American-born male, and for the elitists who have coddled the others, is not okay in any way, shape, or form. When Donald Trump was the president-elect, he opted out of daily intelligence meetings, stating that once a week was enough. He did not care about the knowledge and the ideas of the people around him. He thought that he could handle everything independently. 3 years after his inauguration, the first person in the United States contracted COVID-19. Just like before, Donald Trump ignored the intelligence briefings that warned him of the mass deaths that were to come. His leadership style once again failed the nation. He called the coronavirus a hoax and told the country that it would be just fine. When visiting the Center for Disease Control, Trump bragged, "I like this stuff. I get it. People are surprised that I understand it. Every one of these doctors said, 'How do you know so much about this?' Maybe I have a natural ability. Maybe I should have done that instead of running for president." This diminished the work of hundreds of doctors that have now dedicated their lives to save people from this rapid disease. He continually praises himself, ignoring the intellect and hard work of the people around him. Donald Trump continues to focus on his own needs and wants at the peril of other people's lives. His autocratic leadership style has led this country down an irreversible path. Now that we've talked about what type of leadership style he exhibits, Rachel is going to dive into how that style created the problem within the coronavirus pandemic.
So, the biggest problem itself was Trump's reactivity instead of his proactivity. The president's authoritarian leadership style resulted in an unsuccessful approach when handling the pandemic. We feel that a democratic approach could have served him better in this situation. Time after time, Trump would always put himself before the nation. So we see throughout the pandemic that Trump personally attacked credible sources, such as Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci, a component of Trump's administration pandemic response team, was constantly criticized and attacked by Donald Trump. Some background about Dr. Fauci is he's a medical expert with background in disease research and advises based off of legitimate science and facts. So Fauci has consistently advised for the public to wear face masks, where Trump has taken every opportunity to undermine and downplay his advice, mock him, etc. So Another thing Trump did was appoint his son-in-law as head of the coronavirus response team. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, has a background in real estate with absolutely no experience to serve him with responding to a national public health emergency such as COVID-19. This demonstrates how Trump values loyalty over competence or experience. The stark differences in Trump's treatment of Kushner compared to Fauci indicate that Donald Trump is unwilling to put the nation's interests above his own.
A key aspect to managing a catastrophic event is investing in mitigation activities, providing robust general plans, and making concrete preparations for an event based on these plans. In May 2018, the White House's National Security Council Pandemic Response Team was disbanded in order to prioritize other fundings. In February, the president requested $2.5 billion in emergency funds to prepare the US for a possible widespread outbreak of coronavirus. Now that we've covered the problems, Jackson will cover the potential solution.
As we previously discussed, President Donald Trump has ruled thus far using an authoritarian approach to leadership. We would have suggested approaching this pandemic with a democratic leadership philosophy, giving credence to the age-old adage, 2 heads are better than 1. It is important to listen to the minds of the people around you, especially when those minds belong to disease researchers that have dedicated their lives to this topic. If Donald Trump had replaced his authoritarian style with a democratic one, he would have listened to these experts, such as Dr. Fauci, who had been warning him to be proactive and take precautions from the beginning of the pandemic. Time and time again, medical experts have warned Donald Trump of the impending danger of the coronavirus. Time and time again, however, he has put his own agenda, his ideas, and his beliefs above everybody else and the interests of the nation. In addition, he made appointments based on loyalty rather than qualifications, as we previously discussed by the hiring of his son-in-law. He used coercive power to influence Republicans to stay in line where he should have used legitimate power and led in a more democratic style. He should have also been honest with the public instead of trying to downplay the severity of the virus from the beginning. He also should have supported experts instead of framing the virus as a partisan issue. While he was ignoring the advice of experts, he should have been stockpiling protective gear for frontline workers, preparing tests, and implementing a mask mandate, thus preventing thousands of deaths.
In such a time of crisis, Trump could have created an organized crisis plan using the 3 crisis stages to act fast and prevent such long-term harm in our society. Overall, we believe that the pandemic could have been handled better with a democratic leadership approach. Thank you for listening, and we hope we were able to educate you on Donald Trump's leadership failure.